Welcome, welcome, family. Welcome to another episode of Walking with the Master. Again, my name is Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad. Well, I should say, my name is Grandmaster Abdul Aziz Muhammad, formerly known as Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad. I'm glad that you're here, whether it's through Facebook or my YouTube channel. But this is something for you that we're doing, and we're happy, tremendously happy to introduce to you our individual, which is our master, because this is walking with a master. And we're not talking about just a master, but we're talking about, one of the OGs. One of the original masters of Dr. Moses Powell, and really the whole VSK spectrum, because what VSK is just looking at those that are in our lineage. Grand Professor Florinda Visitacion, Dr. Moses Powell, and Soke Little John Davis. So you have here that we have to introduce to you Grandmaster Robert Sugar Crosson, and we're excited and happy to have you. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you. Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Great. Walking with the Master. There are those who walk with masters, but they don't necessarily train with them.
Yes.
But we're going to go into things with regard to you, because I'm going to be walking with you at this time, and I want to just walk with you. You are going to share and share with everyone that is going to look at this, and that's looking at it, in fact. And I want you to just let them have it, because when I say let them have it, I don't mean like we used to hear, right? Exactly, right? I want you to let them have a peek, and that's all it can be in an episode, because we're going to have more episodes. But I'm here to introduce the original masters. There are going to be others that I'm going to introduce that's not an original, but as long as you've been touched by Doc, then I got to say that his touch makes you great. It's just that I want to introduce the root of those who have given their time. I remember when I came in, and if I've been in for as long as I've been in, and I came in looking at you and looking at Soke and looking at others, I have to just acknowledge that if anyone is to be recognized, you are definitely one of those. So again, I just want to welcome you and thank you for being present on Walking with the Master. In terms of walking with the Master and your walk with Doc, but you didn't just walk with Doc. Of course, Doc was a primary, but he wasn't the beginning, as I understand. Of course, you got an opportunity to get training from a family member. Could you tell me a little bit about that, sir?
Yes. Well, at age 3, my father, who was a hand-to-hand combat instructor in the military, Reverend James Crosson, may he rest in peace, he began to share what I call my first experience with the martial arts. At that time, it was just fun and games. He was actually from the South. So he used to call it Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu. I'm going to show you some Jiu-Jitsu tricks. So what's Jiu-Jitsu? So he showed me a little leg lock, takedown. He said, the enemy's coming at you. You drop down, you switch the legs. It was like a scissor technique, and you chop them on the neck, and then you get out of there. And I remember that 3 years old. If I don't remember anything else, 3 years old, I remember that. And then as time went along, I would say, Dad, attack me. Show me the move. And he would come and pretend he's going to attack me. I'd take him down, chop him, pop. But I started getting better. Then I would chop him. Then I would throw a kick. He said, good. I chop him, throw a kick, throw the lamp on him. He said, wait a minute, you get the look. In any event, so he would show me different little wrist locks, finger locks, and things like that, front kick and things like that. And I would practice. And when I was about 5 years old, I believe, one day I had set up some pillows. I put a pillow on that couch, a pillow on that chair, a pillow on that chair, and I had my little John Wayne pearl handle guns. I used to wear them backwards, and I would walk in with my hat tilted and, just imitate what I saw on TV. Say, you fellas looking for some trouble? So I said, you know what? And I take my guns off and put them down or take them out of the holster. And I go over to this pillow and I chop it and flip it. I hit this one, flip it, kick this one, throw him over. And I'm like, then I pull the guns. And my dad, I didn't even know. I look back, I see my dad looking. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I threw 3 pillows on the floor, chopped them up and stuff. And my dad was like this, serious face. So I'm like, waiting for him to say something. He said, you just chopped those 3 pillows and threw them on the floor. I know he saw me, so I couldn't lie. I said, yes, sir. He said, well, the next time, make it 5 pillows. I'm like, yes, Dad. So I started working with 5 pillows, but that was kind of my introduction. And from there, I just had this thing in me where as I got older, I just enjoyed doing the martial arts. I just enjoyed. I didn't know all of what I was doing. I just knew that I enjoyed throwing punches and kicks. And if I saw something on TV, whether it was back then, you didn't have much on TV. They would do a karate chop and a throw. So that was the extent of what you usually saw. Very seldom you see a real kick anything until the Green Hornet came on years later and, maybe some of the Kung Fu movies. But yeah, so that kind of set me off. And then years later, I had the fortunate opportunity of being able to go to a place called the Good Shepherd Center because I was pretty much raised in Brownsville, East New York, which, as you know, is a rough section of Brooklyn. As a matter of fact, as I always tell folks, Mike Tyson used to live like around the corner on Amboy Street, doing his thing. But he wasn't Mike Tyson who he is today. He was just like a kid. You would see him and he's, but Mike was Mike. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, it's just so much. But pretty much at age 7, I wound up going to Good Shepherd Center around 7 years old. And I met Bill Green, Mr. Seeley, a gentleman named Lockley Bay, who they were teaching Shotokan karate. And I started doing Shotokan there. Mr. Green was a green belt then. Mr. Bay, he never wore a belt, and Mr. Seeley was a purple belt. But I learned, the basic katas, the fundamentals, and I was able to get a strong foundation. But whatever I learned, I practiced, and I just took it seriously. And I was doing karate, and what happened one day, and my sister lived in Cypress Hills, which is, at that time, it was predominantly Italian, I think Jewish or whatever. If you cross on the other side of the tracks of Jamaica Avenue, I went up there to get some pizza and a paper. And as I'm coming out of the pizza parlor, these two white youth, they mush my pizza in my face, push me down, and start kicking me. But I'm blocking the kicks and I'm saying stop. But in my mind, I'm saying, what's going on? Because I never experienced any type of racism, anything like that I could remember up to that point. They're kicking and I'm saying, stop, stop. And I saw the opportunity to do the scissor leg lock and take him down and chop. I was going to do it, but I said, but these guys are big. And if this don't work, it's two of them. They really going to beat me up. So I didn't do anything. I'm blocking. They didn't really hurt me. But then all of a sudden, there was a man that jumped out of the car and yelled at him, and they took off. So that traumatized me so much. You know, I ran home. My brother, who was 2 years older than me, rest his soul, he grabbed a bat and said, "Come on, let's go." I didn't want to go back up there. You know? Come on, let's go. Show me who they are. I'm like, man, I ain't going back up there. So we went up there, and I was like, even if I see him, I ain't pointing them out. So we didn't see anybody. We come back, and that kind of messed me up for a while. And I said, you know what? This karate stuff don't work. I was blaming it on the karate, but I really wasn't that good at that time.
Right.
So long story short, at age about 9 years old, 8, 9, I went to a demonstration. I saw all black martial artists because I was used to seeing Japanese. I saw Masoyama. I shook his hand. I saw Grandmaster Yamaguchi, and you know, you hear about these great grandmasters, and they're all Oriental, and they're, you know, the mystique. And I go here looking for some Japanese guys, and I see all black brothers and sisters, afros, black power symbols on their uniform. I'm like, whoa, whoa. And you come in, you got the music, power to the people and all that. I'm like, whoa, this is pretty cool here. So I sit down, I watch. So I'm seeing these women, they're throwing people around. I'm like, man, this is fascinating. They're rolling and doing stuff like that. Then this little guy comes out with a black belt. He might have been about 17. About 8, 9 guys attack him. No prearranged, and they coming. He's throwing kicks fast as lightning, punches, blocking, moving. I was like so fascinated. That was better than any martial arts stuff I had seen on TV up to that point. So I said, I want to be like that guy. That guy was Soke Little John Davis.
Look at that. So
a few minutes later, here comes this other guy, rolls out, swoosh, a roll. I didn't hear anything. I just heard this swoosh. I said, man, who is that guy? Now, this little guy, which was Soke Little John, which they just call him Little John Davis at the time, he attacks. A bunch of the other guys attacked, and this big guy, he's moving, he's rolling, he's tapping them, popping with class, and then he's fixing his uniform, he pop. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was blown away with Soke Little John. And that was Doctor Moses Powell. Changed my life from that point. I said, I got to learn from that man and that other man. But that big man, I didn't know his name. They call him Moses back then. Moses. I said, I got to learn from that man. Then I said, what is his name? He said, that's Moses. I said, well, I'm going to the mountain. I want to meet Moses. And so I walked up to him, and I hope I'm not talking too long on this.
Oh, no. I love it.
So what happened was he was turned with his back to me, and he was talking to someone, and I'm going over it in my mind. Okay, I'm going to say something like, excuse me, Mr. Grandmaster. Well, it wasn't even Grandmaster because you didn't hear that title back then.
That's right. Much. That's right.
So, Mr. Moses, I love what you did, and I'm fascinated. I want to become a student. So I'm going over this in my mind. So he turns around. You know, when you see that King Kong movie, this comes and you know, ain't nobody going to tase the king of the, you know, right. And he turns, who? So he said, how you doing, young man? Did you enjoy the demonstration? I turned into Jackie Gleason, Ralph Crammer. So I'm looking at him, and finally I got it together. I said, yes, sir. That was the most amazing, fascinating thing that I've ever seen in my whole life. And I want to become a student. And he started laughing. And he said, he put his hand on my shoulder. He said, well, you know, you're a little young. He said, you know, but come back when you're older. So, you know, I was a little disappointed, but not too disappointed. I had a plan. So they were teaching, he was teaching at that school that was 258 on Macon Street. And I showed up that following Monday, and I'm sitting there in the class. It was inside a classroom, inside the school. So he walks in, everybody saying, "Hush!" I stand up, like that. So he's, so he looks, he said, "Wasn't you at the demonstration?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "But I told you that when you get older, you could come and train." I said, "Yes, sir. I'm 2 days older and I'm here and I'm ready."
Great.
He started laughing and he said, "Well, sit down and watch the class." So I'm sitting, I'm watching, so I'm doing like, I'm trying to do the moves because I already had some Shotokan background. So he looks, he said, so that's pretty good. He said, you steady? I said, "Well, I'll learn a little bit." So he said, let me see this, if you can do this. So he told someone to do it. Then he did a roll. I had been practicing this roll like from the time I saw him all night, all weekend. I'm rolling on the floor in the mattress. I didn't have it right. I'm still banging my head or whatever. But I did the roll, and he said, "That's pretty good." And I never forget, that was the greatest compliment to me. I said, "So can I train now?" He said, "No, but you could come and watch the class." I would show up and watch class and watch Soke, and he was like fast as light. I was just, between the two of them, I was just, flabbergasted. I think that's what Mike Tyson used to say. So, yeah. And then eventually, maybe like, I don't even think it was 6 months later, I was able to start training. And they also had a class at St. John's Recreation Center. So that's where I started. And yeah, I had obtained a green belt in Shotokan. And I came in with my little green belt, but you know, I didn't have confidence in that green belt. But as I started learning from Doc, he basically took me under his wings, I'm sorry. And that was the beginning of my real, true martial arts legacy.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a wonderful story. Let me ask, around what year was the St. John's or even the 258 Macon?
258 might have been about 1976, 70, no, not 76, maybe 74, 75, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to check. It's been so long, but you know, and I may not have everything exactly.
Yeah. Because it was earlier. It was earlier than that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I know it was in
Yes, sir. That's awesome.
Yeah, 60s.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That 258 and all of that had to be somewhere around there because we Atlantic Avenue was up and running by the 70s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because
Yeah. But that's awesome. That's awesome.
But after 258, we went to 135. Then we went to 1 West 125th Street, which was a dance studio downstairs on the west side of 125th Street. And we had all types of people come through there, performers, actors, and dancers. And yeah, it was a great experience. And at that time, I made my brown belt. And then as we moved to Atlantic Avenue, then I did make my black belt there. Then when we moved to Atlantic Avenue, I never forget, I told Doc, I said, "Doc, I think I'm ready for my 2nd degree." He said, we may give you a 3rd degree. I said, yeah, really, sir? He said, yeah, 3rd degree burns. Go sit down. No more. I never asked him again. But yeah.
Yes,
So,
sir.
but one of the, yes.
Let me ask you, back in those days, I mean, you know, everybody may want to come through and take a look because they were in awe, but not everybody could hang out under the kind of pressure and difficulty it was to actually be a student. Do you remember some of those who were there back in that day?
Well, it changed over a period of time, and more of them popped up on when we went to Atlantic Avenue, 554 Atlantic Avenue between 3rd and 4th, which was downtown Brooklyn. And my aunt lived about 8 blocks from there. So, you know, that was a good thing because after the workout, I go to the house and eat and everything, and, you know. But we had a young lady named Sheila. We had Mildred. We had Terry. We had oh man, I can't think of that. I could see her face. But had a brother named Harold. We had a brother named Brother David. You had Big O. You had of course Soke Little John, which at that time I think was Sensei. I don't even remember anybody being called Sensei back then, but
Right.
probably was, yeah. But I remember Master.
Yes.
You know, because we was called Doc Master.
Master Mo. Master Moose.
Master Mo. Yeah. And they didn't call him Musa. I didn't. I call him Master Moses Powell, you know.
Yeah. Yes. That was more of the in the mosque.
Yes. But the training was very intense. We didn't even have mats there. I remember it was a wooden floor and it had splinters in it sometimes because it was a dance studio, old rickety place. It was kind of dark in there except for the studio lights, and we didn't have mats. I don't remember mats. I do not remember mats there.
Right.
But I learned how to fold there. I learned how to fold in 258. In 258, they had some of those little bluish or greenish then school mats and stuff. So that was good with me, you know. And that's where I started my experience to learn how to fold. But yeah, the training was kind of treacherous. Then when we moved to Atlantic Avenue, oh, that was a whole different bag because you had martial artists come from all over. All different systems, you know, Murukan, Goju, Taekwondo, and it wasn't a lot of jujitsu then.
Yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, when you said jujitsu, Dr. Powell was the jujitsu man. Grandmaster Ronald Duncan was the ninjutsu man. Grandmaster George Cofield was the Shotokan man, or the father, the black father of Shotokan, the black father of jujitsu, the black father of ninjutsu. You know, they had these names like that. And, you know, you had other people like Grandmaster Frank Ruiz and Grandmaster Peter Urban and so forth. But I'm talking about in the community where I was at, in the black community, then when you said jujitsu, automatically they said Moses Powell. But everybody after a while was trying to get into the jujitsu, but not this, what they call Brazilian jiu-jitsu, because that's a whole nother story for another day.
Yes.
But the jiu-jitsu back then and later on, it took on the name Sanukis.
Yes.
I don't even remember Sanukis down at One West. That took on the name, I remember, Atlantic Avenue, maybe about I'm not going to say exactly, but it might have been 1972, 73, something like that. But
yes, sir.
the training was treacherous, and if you weren't ready, don't come down there.
That's right.
Come down with spar. They would come down and train, but they couldn't handle a lot of guys. They would come down, but they wouldn't come back.
Yes, sir. Let me mention some names. Chuck. You remember Chuck?
Chuck, yeah, brother Chuck. Alberta, yeah.
Yeah, Alberta, yeah.
Veronica, yeah.
Pedrito.
Kenny Brown. Yes. There was another Kenny, I can't think of his name, but he had legs like forget it. I mean, his legs were like, and he and Soke Little John and Lumumba used to have his legs also back then.
Yes, yes.
Coming up.
Bernard.
Brother Bernard. Yeah.
Bernard, was he a musician?
Good question. Good question.
I kind of remember something, and maybe him traveling out of the country at times.
Yeah, he was always on the move. Brother Harold.
Harold Pearson.
Harold was, dancer. But
that's right.
That guy, his kicks, forget it. He kick you. That was it. And he kicked you ballet style too.
Yes.
Mess with them. So we used to have people come through, the last poets. I used to train them. They would come through.
Yes.
I remember when the doc first started, not first started, but the FOI would come down. And them brothers were serious. They wouldn't smile, they'd grin, but they was there to train. They didn't come, come and chat and talk on the side. They come, get ready, they would train, and yes, and that's me. So brother Rob, yes, this particular technique, and they would get deep and ask questions and stuff, and they were serious. So I mean, you had people from the Black Panthers coming down. You had don't get me wrong, you had some white folks coming down. Yes, Orientals coming down. But at that time in the 70s, the Black Power movement was on, and that was one of the places to be, because there was always something going on there. And Doc gave me a key, so I would be there early in the morning, clean up, do what I got to do, teach class. I used to teach class every Saturday, because I remember I would watch Soul Train. I would run to the train station, go to Atlantic Avenue, teach the classes and stuff, clean up after, and keep going.
Yeah, I tell you, that your key, he must have gave it to me later on.
Yes.
Because he gave me a key at one point.
That's right.
I was always coming to the dojo, just waiting on him to arrive, and I would just be there early. But of course, this is later than your time.
Yeah, that's testament, because he wouldn't give that key to anybody.
Right.
Right. He wouldn't give it to just any and everybody. So that was a great testament on this.
Man, I really appreciate that to this day. Well, let's kind of move up the link. See, because I like to start at the root of the tree and the root of your beginning, and you kind of you shared that. I kind of went up to the trunk. So let's talk about relationship between you and Doc, like some of the relationship, some things that you'd like to share that made you impressed, similar to the one that when you first introduced yourself to him and he then moved, but when you started to get in and you were a part of the dojo, and so you were a part of the family, and there's no one that can remove you from being a part of the family, especially in this day and time. So what kind of experiences do you recall, or that you appreciated with Doc, and kind of other lessons that you could give to those that are listening right now and looking at you?
Well, it's so many, but I'll say when we were on Atlantic Avenue, I was always, I guess you could say, athletically inclined, and I just had I guess you'd say, a great level of athletic ability, because I self-taught myself gymnastics. I kind of self-taught myself weapons, but always liked flying, and I always believed that man could fly, I mean, from the time I first saw Superman, I said, if he could do it, I know I could do it. I just got to find out what the secret is. When I was a kid, I didn't know. But so I wanted to take the role to a different level. So I would do little diving rolls, And I said, you know what? Let me just try a little higher. So I started diving over stuff, chairs, and tables, and we used to play follow the leader at Atlantic Avenue. I go up on one level, dive off, had some of the other black belts, the students try it. After a while, they go to the second level. That was it. I go third, fourth. But Doc said to me, he said, that's your baby. He said, that flying roll, he said, that's your baby. He said, you get on up there. He said, but remember, what goes up must come down. And when it does, I'll be waiting. You know, so that was one of the things Doc told me. But, you know, I mean, the fact that he chose me along with, you know, the other black belts, even when I was a brown belt, to travel and do participate in the demonstrations and become one of his Ukis. And I became one of the #1 Ukis.
Yes.
Because, you know, I mean, when it came to falling, I was like a cat. You can throw me and twist me, and I would twist out and smack out and stuff. And Soke would throw me. And between both of them throwing you, if you didn't get it, you'd be in trouble. So Doc said to me one day, he said, you're going to be good, or you're going to be good and dead. I said, sir, I'm going to try to settle for good. But age 17, I just turned 17, and Doc said to me, he said, Brother Rob, he said, I want you to go with me to do a demonstration. I said, yes, sir. No question, no doubt. I mean, you're going to have to ask. Just let me know. So he said, you know, we're going to be leaving in a few days. I want you to pack your bags, pack a bag, and also put some swimming trunks in there. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be a real traveling thing. So I'm thinking we're going to Florida, because he said trunks. And it's like wintertime outside, snow out there. I was hoping we was going somewhere warm, because, you know, Doc, he might have said, oh, we're going to Denver, Colorado. And when we get there, I want you to jump in the lake and take, you know, part of your training. So I didn't know, but I figured we were going to Florida somewhere. So we wound up, I was so excited, I didn't even think about it. We're getting ready to land. And, you know, when I lived in Brownsville, I practically lived in a place called Betsy Head Pool, which was a real large pool. It took up about 8 blocks, that big pool. So I'm seeing this big pool because I'm waking up. I'm saying, man, that's a great swimming pool. And Doc started laughing, and this other gentleman looked and he said, that's not the pool, that's the sea. We were just landing in Antigua. We went to Antigua, Grenada, St. Vincent, Dominica, Barbados, Trinidad, St. Lucia, St. Croix. We went up and down the Caribbean, and I was the only Uki then. So Doc would do 2-3 demos a day, and I was the only Uki attacking, and he was in his prime. And that's when he, you know, said again, you know, you're going to be good, or you're going to be good and dead. But I was getting better, I was getting stronger, and I really had made a serious commitment to my training, because I always had this vision of being one of the best at what I do, and being able to pass this knowledge on, and being able to teach people how to defend themselves. So that incident that happened with me years ago with the 2 white youth would never happen to them, you know, and they'll be able to protect themselves. And so that was kind of like my vision when I was young, teach people how to defend themselves so they don't have to succumb to some crazy wild folks, muggers, or whatever was out there. You can protect yourself. So it's just so much. So I'm going back and forth.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Come on. And I know I can see them right now. Everybody that's looking at this, they are excited, and they probably trouble with us having a break. Go ahead.
Yes. So we were doing 2-3 demos a day. So we would do 3 demos in St. Vincent, eat dinner, take a little break, fly to Trinidad. I mean, it was exciting to me. I don't even remember really sleeping. I'm sure I did in between, but it was like we get off the plane, didn't even go to the hotel. We went to a radio station or TV station, like in Antigua. They had a TV station, a radio station up on the hill. I remember that big antenna. Yeah. So we went up there and did the demo, training the police in Grenada, in St. Vincent, in Trinidad. Later on, years later, you know, Panama and different countries. But the earlier years, yeah, when I went on that tour with Doc, it just changed my whole perspective, and it let me see, because I was living in you know, rough neighborhood in Brownsville, and pretty much what you saw then, that was kind of even before the Superfly days, but you had the pimps, you had the drugs, you had the heroin, which was prevalent in the Black community, you had gang wars, you had the, of course, police brutality, which hasn't changed much. And it was kind of depressing, but because of my martial arts, I was able to get away from all the madness. I would, at 11 years old, go up on the roof in Brownsville. We used to live at 122 South Avenue between Saratoga and Legion. I would go up on the roof. My father was a super, and he had like a couch up there in the summer, and he had a carpet, and that would be my dojo. I could see from that roof. I could see Lincoln Terrace Park. I could see the Brownsville projects and Cephalo projects, and you know, when I said, this is my dojo, this is my world dojo. So I think you stole that from me, Worlds Collide, because I have a world dojo. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, but I would go up there and just train, and I would get away from the madness. And my friends would want to go to the beach, want to go to the pool. Not even the beach, the pool. And I love the pool. Betsy had on the BRC, Brownsville Recreation Center, but I chose to just stay on that roof or go in the backyard and practice. And I would just practice by myself over and over. But I keep going back and forth. But anyway, Doc made a big difference when he took me in my life. That made all the difference in the world, because it showed me that the world was bigger than what I was seeing in Brownsville and East New York and so forth. And it just opened up a whole new perspective as to, I didn't know the world was that big until we went up in a plane. I'm like, whoa, I knew the world was big, but I'm like, man, this is, and as we're flying, I'm like, man, this is, you know, and I mean, I'm a teenager, but still, I'm thinking, you know, well, world is, you know, it's a nice size. You know, I probably could jaunt to Japan. I didn't know. Geographically, I didn't know what was going on, but it was an interesting time. So that was one of the times. And then Doc, he took me with him to perform along with Soke. And Soke, we've traveled together and have done demonstrations together. And, you know, we both attacked Doc, then I attacked Soke, then, you know, go home. I had nobody to attack me at that time. But then Soke and I, we used to do, you know, routines and stuff. But yeah, but I got to tell you this one story, because it's pretty fascinating. I still got a lot of stuff. So when the book comes out, I still got some stuff. But this one,
come on, good.
And, I had invited Doc to my sister's house in Queens to come and have dinner. And my sister, she trained for a little while down at Atlantic Avenue, but she didn't stay long. So we get there, and she made I think she made fried chicken, biscuits, corn, you know, that Southern meat. So Doc, he was on it, he just cracking chicken. Chicken flying all over, bones flying everywhere. So I'm like, man, my master here enjoying himself. So he's eating, and I'm so happy. And my sister says, yeah, Moses, she said, I'm so glad that you took my brother under your wings, and he's really progressing. And Doc said, yeah. So he's eating. Yeah. That's one of them business, Brother Crosson. Yeah, so he's coming along great. So he's eating. I'm like, yeah. Doc is here. And my sister, out of her mouth, says these exact words. Yeah, Moses, he's good. But personally, I think he could whip your ass. What? I almost had a heart attack. I was like, Fred Sanford, yes, big one. Oh, I couldn't believe you said that. I'm like, I'm choking on my food, and I'm like, why would you say that? He's like, yeah, and so Doc, he stops eating for a minute, He says, "Is that what you think, Brother Crosson, Brother Robert?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "Okay." So he kept eating. He said, "I'll see you at the dojo Monday." Man, I lost my appetite. I don't think I ate any more that day. So I got to the school. I'm working out a little bit. I knew it was coming. So near the end of the class, I said, "Man, I got away with it, kind of." Huh? So Doc, he says, "Okay, now I just have one more technique I want to demonstrate." He said, "This technique, I haven't shown it because it's so deadly, and if you're one iota off, you kill whoever you're working with. So I don't want you to do this, but I want to show it to you. Brother Rob, come." Oh, Lord. I said, "This is it. He's going to take me out." So it was the usual. I mean, when Doc touched you, regardless of whether you think it was, brutal or not, it hurt. He was asking, "Brother Rob, which is quicker, that one or which is quicker, quick or fast?"
That's right. That's right.
I don't know, but both of them hurt. I didn't see either one. So anyway, as I get ready to attack, he said, "Yes, how's your sister doing? Hook to the head." I'm like, "Oh, Lord." But, it was nice technique. And yeah. But I have so many different great memories with Doc that he have inspired me. I studied him. I studied his movements. I studied his walk. I studied the way he would wear his uniform. That's one of the things also that encouraged me to eventually start sewing and make my own uniforms.
Yes.
He would sit me down and talk to me, about different situations and things that was going on in life. And he said, "Don't get caught up in that." He said, "You have so much potential." He said, "You got a future in front of you." He said, "I see great things." He said, "Don't get caught up in all that." He said, "Come to the dojo and train." And that's, when he had gave me that key, I had tears in my eyes. I was like, man, yep, I'd be there at 6 a.m. training, leave late at night, make sure the dojo was in order. But one thing that I, remember is I didn't have a lot of money. And Doc never really pressed me for money. He said, "Just come and train." He said, "If you can, you do what you can. If you can't, just come and train." And that was a key thing,
Yes.
So eventually I got, a little job in White Castle and so forth, and I would pay my little dues. I think it was $15 a month or something like that, or whatever I could. But he never pressed me. Never. Him or Soke. Soke never asked me for money. Teach. You would always say, "Soke, Little John, come on, Robert, let's train. Let's work out. Let's move around." You never asked me for money. Never asked me for a penny. I would still, out of my heart, when I could, I would try to, bless him and, do something. But yeah, so I never forgot. And even up until the day when Doc transcended, anytime I saw him, I said, I cannot see him if I know he's somewhere and not put something in his hand.
Yes.
So I would, put something in his hand and he would wrist lock. "Oh, thank you, Brother Rob." Yeah. So after a while, I'll put something in his hand and he said, "Thank you." And he hugged me. I say, "Sir, no wrist lock." He said, No. I realized that was the hand that was signing the checks. I don't want to damage that." But
that's great. Let me, what you demonstrate, and as we listen to this, we get a good picture of the student, and I want to talk with you about students and the kind of mind that you feel they should have. A student coming to train under a master. See, so I hear in your communication, and as I'm listening, I just want you to know that I see a lot of the same thing in me. And as you are saying what you're saying about him, I feel, and I've gone through things, so I see that it is his way, and his way has made it to be our way. So I appreciate that, but I'm appreciating your walk as a student. I appreciated listening to Soke and whatnot. But so now I want to ask you about students, because you've had many students under you, and you do have many students. But I know that we all experience different types of students. So for those that are listening, that either they want to be a student, they are a student, give them an idea of what you as a master at this time desires to see or feels that should come from a student. How should a student be to his master and really to himself?
Well, first and foremost, I feel that the first thing is that they should have definitely a much higher level of commitment. Today, I see students, they come in the dojo, they want to learn. Today, you know, people think that, and not knocking it, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's the thing. MMA, it's a sport. It's a sport. I watch this UFC stuff every now and then. Well, I haven't watched it in a while, but you know, these guys, no respect. They cursing, they punching holes in walls, they talking about each other's mother. That's not martial arts. When they say mixed martial arts, that's mixed up martial arts, because, you know, the first thing that I teach my students, and many of the instructors, and I'm sure yourself, of course, is respect.
Yes.
Respect.
Yes.
You know, my student creed was, as a dedicated disciple of Grandmaster Robert Crosson, I will respect the values of all existing life. I will never misuse or abuse my martial arts skills. I will be courteous, considerate, and kind to others. I will strive each and every day to be the very best that I can be. I will say no to drugs and yes to success, because I am on a quest to be my very best. For I am number one. I am a disciple of Grandmaster Robert Sugar Crosson. And I try to teach them to live by that, not only in the dojo, but you carry that respect wherever you go.
That's right.
There's a saying, I respect you, you respect me, we respect each other. Not everybody's going to give you that respect back, but you give it first, and it's going to kind of encourage them, if they wasn't planning to give you the respect, to give you that respect. You know, gangsters, they got a thing, you know, you walk by, if you look at him, he look at you, you don't say nothing, you just grinning. Or if you walk by and you do this, it's like, all right, respect, you know, and they keep moving. But the students, the respect is going. They don't appreciate, a lot of students today, they don't appreciate the instructors. They feel, well, I'm paying my money. And as long as I'm paying my money, then, you know, you should appreciate it.
Right.
There's no amount of money that you can pay a true instructor for the knowledge that he's given you, because if you utilize the skills and ability one time to save your life in a life-threatening situation, even if it's not even rising to a physical confrontation, but it's starting to escalate, but you were able to verbalize and just talk your way out of that situation because of the calmness that you learned through your instructor and the discipline and the focus of not getting out of hand and, you know, figuring that you know, you're a martial artist, you take this guy out, so I'll bust your head open, you muck. And then next thing you know, it's a done deal. Right. You know, you might wind up hurting this guy, and then you wind up in jail. You might wind up killing him, or he might wind up hurting you or coming back for you. So, you know, these students today, it's a whole different mindset. They look at the martial arts as a game. Not all of them, but the attitudes and the seriousness that we had back in the day.
Yes.
It's almost non-existent. Integrity is very important. If you say you're going to do it, do it. If you can't do it, at least talk about it and say, sir, I wasn't able to do it. Don't just drop out of the class. Oh, I didn't have the money. I wanted to go on vacation. You know, what is your priority? So it's pretty deep, but I find that a lot of the students today, they are, I don't want to say softened up in comparisons to the students back in the day, but it's not the same level of integrity, honor, and commitment. If I train you and you're not training with me 10 years down the road, I'm still your teacher.
That's right.
You still respect me. It's just like your parents. You live with your parents and, once you move out of the house, what, you don't respect them no more? I don't have to listen to you. I'm grown. Come on. Humble yourself. So I see a lot of that. I see a lot of, unfortunately, people that leave their instructor and then they start to trip out. And next thing you know, I'm going to say it.
Go ahead.
They are grand poobahs, grand masters.
Yes, sir.
Grand hired hotels. I don't know if you've been visiting that. And hey, teachers own. But I'm saying, what is it based on? What is that based on? Okay, so you stop doing what you originally started doing with your original instructor. So now you develop your own thing. So you're doing the funky roof system. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I hope you don't get offended. If you do, might be you, but that's another story.
That's right. That's right.
And so they create this system, say, I'm the founder of that system. So I'm the soke. But come on. It's like me going and starting my own college because I couldn't graduate from high school, but I'm going to start my own college. And I'm going to be the grand professor of my own college.
Yes.
Yeah. So the martial arts has been watered down. People don't want to put in the time to train to achieve the levels that they're claiming to have. And once again, I'm not trying to come down and be condescending on anyone, but we got to be real because I think you're doing an injustice not only to the martial arts, but to those people that you're teaching. So if I'm not qualified, for instance, to be a solid brown belt, and then I decide, okay, I'm going to move to Oklahoma, but I'm promoting myself to black belt. I'm going to go and buy me a new uniform, a new color belt. And you know what? I've been doing this thing for 20 years. I think I'm ready for a 5th degree, And of course, when they ask me who do I train under, I'm going to say Master Soken Soki in Japan, in the hills of Japan.
Yes.
Or somebody that you can't really go check on to see if this person is legit. But yeah, so now these guys are claiming to be this. Now they're promoting students and promoting them to certain ranks.
Yes.
And yeah, it's crazy. I saw a lady a few weeks ago. She tells me, oh, you do jiu-jitsu? Yeah, my son, he does the same thing. I said, really? How old is your son? Oh, well, he's also a 2nd degree black belt. I said, really? In jiu-jitsu? No, taekwondo. I said, how old is he? Oh, he's 7. I said, oh, okay.
Right. I
said, I gotta go. I can't.
Let me. So students is thing you mentioned about loyalty and honor and integrity. Now,
dedication, commitment.
Yeah, dedication, patience. Now, listen, for me, coming up, and I know for you as well. See, it doesn't matter where you are in your life. It's like you mentioned, your father, your mother, your grandfather. No matter where they are, they may be old and they may not even be able to, but you still should revere them like they
absolutely
the time that they put in and all of that. And now you as a youngster come in and you want to act as though you are equal to them. Now for me, as I said, I respect you. I respect Soke. I actually respect everybody. It's not a lack of respect for anyone, but there are those who come into the teaching in which we have, but then assert themselves and place themselves in positions that ignore the difficulty that one have gone through. So you have gone through this and will try to exclude you from the history, because when you do that, you then can bring yourself up. But
Yes.
this is something that I wanted to just kind of shoot out, and it's really for learning. This walking with the master is to learn about the man, so you can really learn about yourself and see what is good and what is right and what is best. So I want you to kind of just talk to that idea of the respect that one should have for their lineage and what came before them.
Yeah, because it's our teachers whose shoulders we stand on. It's like a kid who, because, you know, maybe there's a parade going by. Let me see if I can use this analogy. And the kid, the father puts him on his shoulders. So now he's saying, now he can see the parade, but it's because his father lifted him up. But at the same time, if his father took him and stood him on his shoulders and held him so he can see, and he starts stomping, I don't need you, kicking his father in the head. I don't need you. I don't need you. He falls because he forgot where he came from. So, we always got to remember our teachers. We always got to respect our teachers. Even if you're not training with them, check on him, see how he's doing. Even if you had a disagreement because he made you do 30 push-ups and you only wanted to do 2 or whatever craziness you decided you don't want to train under your instructor anymore for. But remember, you're standing on your instructor's shoulders, and it's because of him or her that you have been able to rise to the level that you have. So I always say, never forget where you come from. This patch, which you may not be able to see it that well, but we have 5 colors, and the white stands for purity, cleanliness, righteousness of the mind, body, and soul. The gold stands for like the gold medal, number 1, the best, the best. The red stands for the burning desire, like the blood, the sweat, the tears that it takes, and the dedication and the effort it takes to be the best. The brown stands for the heritage, and the heritage means to never forget where you came from. Yes. And the black stands for universal knowledge, the knowledge of self and understanding of who has helped you to get there, and the wisdom to know that you should always revere them and respect them and continue in that journey to not only improve yourself, but to pass it on like they pass it on to you. So it's pretty interesting, but the respect, the integrity, the loyalty, the dedication, the commitment, those things should be in place at all times. Whenever you see your instructor, if it's 40 years down the road, you should, you bow, you greet. It's like if you kiss your dad or hug your mom or dad in the house, when you get around your friends, it's like, oh, I don't want to do it, I'll be embarrassed. No, if you see your instructor first, you greet, you respect them. Even if you haven't trained with them in 50 years, maybe now you're doing really well. And even if you're not, and you don't have to know how much money he or she may have in their pocket, but offer them to take them to dinner or put something in their hand, or, at least be in touch, ask how they're doing, and every now and then send them something. And, a lot of people have this attitude, well, I don't train him no more. I paid him when I was, he was overcharging. Please, give me a break.
That's right.
Give me a break. So you got to look out for those that have helped you to get there, because just like we owe our parents everything. I can't understand someone being so angry with their parents that they don't want to talk with them no more. Well, I mean, I've never been in certain situations. I'm sure there are things that are, challenging psychologically, depending on the situation, but I can't understand it because your parents have guided you and now you're upset because they're trying to control your life. You're 21, you're grown. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do now that I'm 21 or even 18. I can drink, I can smoke, I could do drugs, I could curse, I could be reckless, I could stay up all night. So you're going against all of the things that your parents taught you not to do, so you can get to the level where you are, so you can go through your school and get the proper education. Now you got some knowledge here, but you think you're too smart. You think you're smarter or better than your parents. So, just kind of rebelling. I don't want to have nothing to do with them. I don't want them telling me to do nothing no more. But they fed you. They clothed you. They took care of you when you were sick. They taught you when you didn't know. They were there for you, whatever the situation was when you were in trouble. But now you making a little money, or you got a little knowledge, or you're doing good for yourself, and you feel I don't need them no more. And that's the way people do with their instructors.
And let me add another level to it that you can speak to as well. But there's a big family. Okay, so there's the father and the mother, of course, but that father who have shared himself and whatnot, and everyone, all of the children want to be recognized by the father, and that's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
But the older brothers, that when father didn't have much, father used these young men to help build what he does have. And now that you have younger brothers coming into the family, they're not acknowledging the older brothers who have passed before them. So you show your love for your father by how you show the love for the family.
That's right.
So that is another part that I wanted to just bring,
That's another part. It's another part, but you hit it right on the nose. But as I said before, respect is respect.
Yeah.
And family, or just another martial artist, I think that the respect factor is number one. Now, I'm a person, I've always been real. I'm a funny guy. I like to laugh and joke and clown. But, real talk makes for real understanding. When someone is on some bull crap, I just can't deal with it. I try to be somewhat diplomatic, but, back in the day, I would want to, but now it's like, I say, you know what? Peace out. I just can't deal with that, But, by the blessings of the Creator, I've been able to endure many challenges in my life. One being a cancer survivor,
awesome.
My younger years, my mother passing, my brother, my father, my aunts that I love, cousins, being around just negative environments, drug dealings, and all that stuff. But the Creator has guided me, and I realize it's for a purpose. So that's why I want to continue to share this knowledge, but for those who will and utilize it in a positive way. I'm not tripping. I got a belt here that my students gave me. I just put it on because it goes with the uniform that I made. But nice. I see guys like this. Tell me if I'm wrong. Let me show you. Like this here. You know what this is? The high-ranking belt.
I love you, man.
Yeah. We could talk all day. But just once again, reiterating what I have said, that, these students, they have to realize that those that have come before them have paved the way. I have all the respect in the world for, of course, Grandmaster Dr. Professor Moses Powell, Soke Little John, yourself, and various martial artists. I don't have any kind of animosity. I just, at this point, the Creator is telling me I need to focus on what I need to do and continue to spread the knowledge, the wisdom, the love. And, at age 67 plus, I'm still doing cartwheels and flipping, rollerblading and all that. So I got to share this. I got to give it out.
Come on.
It's not for me. I'm loving it, but I need to share this knowledge. you
Well,
know.
let me ask. Well, first of all, I want everybody. I mean, I've been so engaged that I haven't even been able to say it, but I want everybody to subscribe to this channel, because this is the kind of information, this is the kind of actions and talk we're going to have. The talk that's going to be productive, the talk that's going to raise your level of thinking so that you can be a better person. And it's for everybody. It's for everyone, because it doesn't matter what system you're in. It doesn't matter, because it's all about life, as you've heard Grandmaster Robert Crosson mentioning and saying. So I want you to subscribe so that we can keep you informed, whether it's on my YouTube channel. But anyway, you'll see that. I wanted to ask, and I know that we're getting close to time and whatnot. I want Grandmaster Crosson, is there some information, or did you want to share some way of contacting you, just in case, because like that uniform that you have on, that's a uniform that you made.
That's part of it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have pants.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah. So I've been doing the custom uniforms. I'm getting ready. I have my own jump rope, the Crosson Jump Fit jump rope. I have my own boxing gloves.
Beautiful.
I have a DVD. Oh, these are autographed, by the way. See that?
Excellent, excellent.
Box Like the Pros boxing DVD. I have my jump rope for fun and fitness. I'm working on my book. Getting into great shape for life, and just working on some different things. Once the pandemic is kind of settled and it's a little safer to travel, I'll be traveling again, teaching seminars. I've been teaching pretty much personal one-on-one on YouTube, boxing, fitness, and even some self-defense stuff. So my Instagram is Sugar Crosson. Yes. My email address is CrossonRobert@Yahoo. That is CROSSON ROBERT@yahoo.com. I'm working on my website, and I got some good and exciting things coming up. And this pandemic thing has allowed me the opportunity to just reflect and reset and just think about so many things that we take for granted. We get up in the morning, we go to work, or we go do what we do. We come home, we upset because this didn't go right. Somebody crossed us the wrong path in traffic or whatever, cut us off and stuff. But we don't take time to realize that, we're blessed because the Creator woke us up. We're blessed because He gave us the ability to, not that we should, but to say, hey, man, you crossed my car like that. But we're talking, we're moving, we're walking. But we could take that energy and do something else with it and use it in a positive way. So this pandemic has given me the opportunity to reflect, reset, and to dig even deeper into my creativity. I've been building furniture, never built any furniture. I've been building stuff and making stuff for neighbors and different people, and even sold some furniture. I baked, coconut cake the other day. Yeah, it came out pretty good. And of course, I've been doing a lot of sewing, and I'm doing some writing now, trying to improve on my writing skills. So that's coming along slowly. So I'll just put it out there if there's anybody out there that is really good at writing or the editing and stuff, and they're willing to donate some time to help me out with my book ventures, then I would appreciate you reaching out. And as always, brother Abdul Azziz Mohammed, I just want to thank you for this opportunity, and I want to thank you for your commitment and dedication to the martial arts and to the world, and definitely to the minister in the Nation of Islam, because you've been a true warrior ever since I've known you. You've been real. You're not a guy to just say something and to say it.
Mm.
You know, you've been a man of integrity, a man of honor. You know, and your students should, and I'm sure they do, appreciate and love you. And if you don't, then you need to get on it. And those of you who are not training and making excuses because the pandemic or this or that, get off it. Get off it. You know, this is the time that God is saying, I want you to sit back and reflect, but I want you to realize that this is a time for you to create, improve, uplift, share your knowledge, and keep moving forward. You can't just sit back and wait, you know. So I don't want to start preaching. That's not my thing.
Man, I am, you don't even know. I'm so excited, and you know, being able to talk to you, and you know, this is not prearranged questions. This is a natural flow of communication, us having a conversation. And I'm glad I'm glad all of you were able to just be a part of the conversation. Just think how big this room is, you know, that we're in right now, where you can hear and walk along with myself, walking with the master.
Yes. And one more thing I want to say, I want to thank the fellow martial artists out there, the masters, the grandmasters, the shihans, the senseis, the sokes, the people who are true to this and really doing this, and who are not perpetrating and not doing this just for the ego or trying to make money, but you're doing it because you have a genuine concern and a genuine, I can't think of the word, but you want to give knowledge, you want to share this knowledge and information. So, you know, I thank you, I commend you, and, you know, respect, peace, and love to you all. I wish you blessings. I would say be safe, you know, wash your hands, wear your mask, social distancing, and realize this thing is for real. I'm not going to get into whether you should or shouldn't do this or do that, but please be safe for yourself and for others.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for your presence. Thank you, Grandmaster Crosson, for being the kind of brother that you are, being the kind of student that you are, being the kind of master that you are. We appreciate you. We love you. And I look forward to our next conversation, which is not going to be very long, because we're not looking to talk to everybody in the world. We're just looking to talk to the best people in the world.
Yes. Excellent. And I would say assalamu alaikum, and please give my love to the minister.
I will do that. And I'll pass it on to the Supreme Captain, Brother Moses.
Yes, absolutely.
You're always mentioning him to me.
Yes, and tell him that he owes me like 50 sit-ups. You can videotape and send it to me.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, my brother. Love you, man.
Yes.
And everyone, stay tuned, because next Sunday, we're coming at you with some real powerful, another master that you'll be introduced to. Thank you.
Yes.
Every student of a master here today, you reflect your master teacher. You want to walk like him. You want to talk like her. But you start by having an object in front of you that you admire.